Japan, Part 85. Even if a vote is held, the vast majority commonly follow the group position without developing a separate position of their own at the local level, whether in the village, town, urban workplace, or neighborhood. Certain leaders tend to set the tone and define the framework in which issues are considered. What passes as village or community consensus, therefore, may in fact reflect not agreement but the reluctance of many ordinary people to express their views for fear of offending these leaders. At the national level, the power of the big business has often stifled dissenting opinions. The sense of community among top leaders tends to exclude those who do not meet their standards, whether size of firm, nature of the business, or personal style. And this often makes it difficult for outsiders to get a fair hearing in influential circles. These pressures for the conformity are inextricably linked with the capacity of those groups to maintain their cohesiveness. No one would advocate limiting the variety of views expressed or suppressing stories. It is doubtful, however, that the limits to the expression of the variant opinion imposed by the group cohesiveness still constitute a serious threat, a serious threat to Japanese democracy. The pre-war totalitarian state dominated an unsophisticated public that had no choice but to follow blindly a militaristic government because so few of its members had the sophistication to know otherwise or the opportunities to say otherwise. With the explosion of the foreign movies and television shows since World War II, the sophistication of the Japanese public about foreign and domestic affairs has reached a level that precludes a return to the pre-war ignorance. The experience of the Japanese in forming and voicing their own opinion has grown immeasurably. Similarly, the level of involvement of millions of Japanese in business overseas and the constant electronic contact with the outside renders next to the impossible the threat of the communication restriction and thought control of the population. One might imagine that even sophisticated people with constant contact with foreigners could somehow be nationally controlled under an extraordinarily powerful military. But the possibility of a strong military appears remote. In addition, the public has grown much more accustomed to free expression of the ideas. In short, it is hard to imagine that the control of the thought by a totalitarian leadership is a viable threat to Japan. In the opinion of many thoughtful Japanese leaders, the greatest threat to Japanese-style democracy comes not from the possibility of external aggression or potential cut-off of the raw material or foreign markets, nor does it come from the committed rightist, Marxist, urban guerrillas, or the Red Army. The real threat, in their view, is the dissipation of group cohesiveness. During the university disputes of 1968-69, a faculty and university officials were unable to bargain with the new left. The group was not well organized, it did not have a defined constituency, nor a precise point of view, and there was no means to assure that any agreement would stick. Some citizens' groups are equally ephemeral or nebulous. They protest, prevent construction projects, disrupt ongoing organizations, and they are not sufficiently organized to represent a constituency, nor are they empowered to reach agreements with all left, including socialist, communist, and even their student affiliation. There is opposition, but there is also structure for negotiation. There are arguments and counter-arguments, demonstrations and manipulations. But in the end, an agreement, or at least a modus vivendi with tacit understanding, is reached.